gymnastics moms, is your gymnast struggling to handle the pressure? If so, stay tuned. This is the video for you. You're in Mindset for Moms, where we help moms develop happy, healthy gymnasts who know how to win. All right, so you might be in meet season, specifically big meets season, the qualifying meets, the final meets of the year, the meets where your gymnast is feeling a lot of pressure. Now, some of you are already finished with the season. And for those of you, in the same way, pressure starts to come now to get the new skills. So, either way, your gymnast often feels a lot of pressure, and that pressure causes her to crumble. You got to think about pressure. Like, what is pressure? Pressure is literally like pressing in on something. And when your gymnast is feeling that pressing in, she thinks it's coming from the outside. You might think that too. The pressure is coming from her coaches. The pressure is coming from recruiters. The pressure is coming from, just teammates. The pressure is coming from the meets themselves. The reality is, pressure is an emotion. More specifically, it's usually like anxious, stressed, frustrated, hopeless, fearful. Those are the emotions that kind of come with that feeling of pressure. And one of the things that we teach our gymnasts is that our feelings come from our thoughts. Now, sometimes those thoughts are, subconscious. They're not even aware of the thoughts that they're thinking that is causing those feelings. But when it comes to the feeling of pressure, the thought is that it's coming from outside of them. But the reality is you can only feel based on what's coming from inside of you. So, for instance, if I'm like, I hate your pink hair, and you're like, weird lady, I don't have pink hair. You don't feel something because I said something. But let's say you had just dyed your hair pink, and I'm like, I hate your pink hair. And you're like, I shouldn't have dyed it pink. It's what we think about what somebody says or about something outside of us that makes us feel something. And the same is true with pressure. It's what your gymnast is thinking about the big meets. It's what your gymnast is thinking about getting new skills that makes her feel pressure. All right. So pressure comes from the inside. Now, that doesn't mean it's easy to deal with. It just means that you can if you want to, right? So whenever she starts saying things like, oh, but these big meets are so stressful, help her like gently guide her to the idea that it's just her thoughts about the big meets that's causing her to feel so much stress and pressure. Thoughts like, if I don't qualify, then I'm not going to reach my goals. If I don't, if I don't hit it state, I won't qualify for regionals. If I don't hit it regionals, I won't qualify for nationals. If I don't hit it nationals, I won't qualify for classics. If I don't hit it classics, I won't qualify for elite nationals, whatever it might be. Then this, then this, then this. We have like this whole story that we tell ourselves. And we're going to talk about that more next week. But when we're telling ourselves that story is when we create that feeling of pressure. And it's not that we're going to be able to get our brains to stop telling us those stories, but what you want to do is help your brain focus on the stories that actually feel good instead. And so that's what we're going to work on this month, is how to handle those feelings of pressure. And part of it is managing your brain. And the first step is just knowing that the pressure is coming from inside and it's optional. The reason that we like the pressure is because we think that that helps us do better. Gymnasts tell me that all the time. I do better under pressure. I do better under pressure. But it's still going to be the thoughts that are creating like why you do better. And so when those thoughts make you feel negative, you don't do better. When those thoughts make you feel positive, then you do better. And so you have to always check in with how it's feeling. So if your gymnast is feeling pressure and it's not helping, then helping her know it's optional. She doesn't have to focus on, the thoughts. And at the end of the day, like I get that all of us are investing a lot of time, a lot of energy. But Simone Biles' first coach, Amy Borman, used to always say to the gym internet is like the internet followers of gymnastics. And everybody would be so serious and arguing about things. You know how the internet can be. And Amy would get on and she'd be like, guys, this is just gymnastics. We're not curing cancer here, right? Like a lot of times gymnasts feel like this is their whole life. This is their whole identity. How they do now defines everything for the rest of their life. I've had kids go down the like, but then if I don't do good, I'm not going to get recruited. And if I don't get recruited, I'm not going to go to college. And if I don't go to college, I'm going to have to work at McDonald's for the rest of my life. So, like, getting this one skill is dependent on how the rest of her life is going to go. That causes a ridiculous amount of unnecessary, unhelpful pressure. So, being able to go, this is just gymnastics. And if I don't get recruited, I'll be really disappointed, but I'll deal with it. I'll be able to handle it. This is just gymnastics. If I don't make it to the next level this year, then I'll deal with it and I'll work on it. And being able to help your brain know that you're going to be able to deal with what happens. You're going to get through it. Thousands and hundreds of thousands of gymnasts have not reached their ultimate goal. I mean, there's one Olympic all around medal every 4 years. How many gymnasts have not reached their all ultimate goal of winning at the Olympics? Like so many, and all of them are thriving and doing fine in life. So being able to tell yourself the truth, yes, you want this, but this isn't a pressure filled situation. Your brain is just telling you that because it thinks that it will make you do better. And if it doesn't, then you want to help diffuse the pressure and focus instead on the things that feel good about it. Now, I, on the other side, like to also really focus the brain on the outcome that I want. So our brain, if you watch a movie, how like you feel what's happening in the movie, even though it's not real. And that same thing is true when you imagine reaching that goal, even though it's not real, even though you haven't done it yet. And so I really love to be in a state of imagining reaching that goal. So imagining hitting at regionals and getting up on that podium and qualifying to nationals, imagining being at nationals, imagining getting to the next level, imagining getting that recruiting call and putting yourself into the emotion. So the other thing that you can do is help your gymnasts know like the pressure is just coming from the thoughts within. And instead of focusing on that, let's just make believe. Let's just play. Let's just go to imaginary land where she reached all of those goals and put herself into the place of like imagining, she's in her Leo, her hair is done, her makeup's done, whatever, if she's old enough. She's up on that podium, she's getting that all around medal, or she's winning vault, or whatever that is. And she's saluting, and everybody's cheering, and her teammates are cheering, and the coaches are cheering, and her parents are cheering, and she's so happy and excited. And you guys go out to dinner afterwards and like help her just like play along with her, be like, let's just play. And the more often she can put herself into the place where her brain starts to believe this is possible, and of course this is going to happen, and this is just what happens, the less pressure she'll feel. So those are two ideas on how to help her start to deal with the pressure. We're going to be talking about that all month long. So stay tuned. And if you need more help, inside of our program, Next Level, this is what we do. Week by week by week, we teach gymnasts how to manage their mind, how to train their brain so that they can actually reach their gymnastics goals. And our kids are killing it, winning at state, getting into regionals. Like so many of our kids are really killing their goals this year. And I know that your kid will too. So if you'd like to get inside of our program, we have a free training that you can watch. We have then after that, a strategy session. We would love to have you inside of Next Level where we can help your gymnast learn how to deal with all of her thoughts and how to rewire her brain so that the pressure doesn't get to her and instead she can handle it well.